always taking me around the new corner of the property, man. I don't know who you're hiding these things from, but...
There's a project for you, Mr. Russell.
Oh, now we're talking. That thing is sweet. Today's project is brought to you by the color green. That's a real live Willys Jeep. That thing is cool. I gotta say, that's an Army Jeep right there. I can dig it.
We might get old, but we don't grow up.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. All of a sudden, I'm like, this is like a Tonka toy.
Yeah.
That's not a fiberglass one.
No, sir.
Nice.
That's a 1946 all steel.
Still look like a goon sitting in this thing. I didn't realize they were so tiny.
You look good in there.
I feel good. When you opened this hood in 1947, this is what you saw. Albeit a little bit cleaner, but it's so interesting that nobody ever messed with it. I wouldn't have been able to leave it alone all those years. Bill and I are going on and on about how we both love it so much. The question is, what do you want to do with it?
Well, I really got this for my grandson because I want to teach him like I've taught my kids to drive a stick shift.
Ah. I know he's been driving that Gator around. That's been his since he first learned to steer, right?
Yes. He's good at it now, but he did crash it once.
I noticed that. That's bound to happen.
Yes.
That's what you get for driving in plastic vehicles. Okay, I feel you. So that's automatic transmission.
Right. This is the next step.
Level. I just want to know if I could drive it before he gets his hands on it.
You can, right now.
Heck yeah, I've never driven one of these. It's the first time for everything. Wow. So where's first on this, down?
Down.
No, this is cool. Not only is this a cool car with some serious flavor, but it's perfect for Lincoln. I know he's a Boy Scout and really into the outdoors, so hey, there's nothing better than a vintage Willys. I like what we're working with. 12-year-old mind and an 80-year-old vehicle. What could possibly go wrong? Another beautiful day in Mr. Bill's barn. Senor Lincoln's in the house, and we are ready to get to it. Oh, look who it is.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, Lincoln, what's happening? I love your Jeep, man.
I'm really excited because I've never driven a stick shift before.
Me too. And I took it up that hill in the back. This is an awesome Jeep. My favorite is this windshield, right? So when you're driving, that goes down, then that foot goes out there. Hand up, that's it. Now you're cruising.
It's a convertible now.
Yeah, exactly. Before we do any kind of transformation on this Willys, the key thing is Lincoln's got to look cool driving it.
Do whatever you guys come up with. He's got ideas.
My mentality is about a 12-year-old level, so all the cars that I do look like toys, so whatever you're thinking, man, let's do it.
I like what you did to my grandpa's truck. I was thinking that we could try and chop the top.
It has no roof, man. That makes my job a lot easier. Here you go. Shazam! The chop is topped. The top is chopped.
The way I see it, if the roof were there, it would be like really tall.
I could see that, yeah. You know, at first I thought he was crazy, but I gotta admit, the kid's right. I never understood why this big panel was here. You're in this wide open vehicle and you kind of have a shield in front of your face.
Yeah.
I feel like all the old dudes looking at me when I'm explaining my ideas at 12 years old of all these fantasy go-karts and everything else, and they're like, yeah, kid, good luck with that. I've just never really worked with the thin air, you know? There's nothing to start with up there. It's the classic conundrum of trying to relate to the next generation. I'll show you a little of the old envisioning tricks. First, we're gonna take some of the leaves off. If you did have a top, like if you were to put a roof on it, yeah, that's really high up there. Never stifle a young creative mind, you know? As a young kid talking with these older dudes, they could have responded one of two ways, like, just do what I say, kid, right? Or being supportive, and that's exactly the role I'm taking up. Instead of me telling you what to do, let's figure out how to do what you're thinking should happen. Do you want to put a roof on it, or just still want a convertible?
I don't think it needs a roof. You don't get much rain here.
Tailoring this whole thing so Lincoln looks cool, right? Like it fits him, but he's gonna grow up, so I wanna be sure an adult fits in it as well. We got a plan, now let's get to it. We're gonna chop this roofless top. Well, why don't we start by taking this aluminum stuff off? We'll see what it's made of.
And see that side mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
You can definitely improve on that. All right, those are started. Try to take them out. I'll work on the other side. It's a nice little change of pace, you know, instead of being with the old grizzled, been there, done that car guy, we got bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Spirited young man.
All right, I got all the screws out. What should I do with these?
Sweet. Take that thing and throw it out in the driveway as far as you can.
It already looks better.
It lowered this, see? Hop in now, check it out.
Ian, can you get your magical broom of viewing?
Prepare for magical broom of viewing. Oh yeah, it does look way better. I mean, that took the windshield down 1.5 inches. Do you want to go further than that?
Yeah.
Kid after my own heart. This is gonna be awesome. Enough with the screwdrivers, let's get into some fabrication. Have you ever taken a windshield out before?
No, I haven't.
Here, this is the windshield removal tool. I'm gonna let you handle that. Take it out. Strong work, natural ability. What are you doing here, man? This is a mess. That's not how you take out a windshield.
Well, you were the one who handed me the sledgehammer.
Hey, don't follow my bad advice. It's pretty interesting for a kid who just smashed apart a window and now I'm cutting on his Jeep. He seems pretty relaxed. How's that burrito treating you?
Good.
Good call, man. You got plenty of windshield now.
Yep.
It's as if nothing was in the way.
Yeah, I think this is good.
You sure? You sure you don't want to do something a little more creative? I mean, what about a little asymmetry? How about a little something like that?
I kind of like that, I have to admit.
It's got a little bit of the gangster lean.
Could you possibly do the same angle with this bar?
You know, the freedom of the 12-year-old mind is what I've been striving for my entire career. Anything goes. Wild ideas, as long as they look convincing, it's gonna be okay. You got a natural talent for this design thing. I like it. As creative as that looks. I don't know if Grandpa's gonna go for that. We gotta make him proud after all, right? I liked your idea in the first place.
Yeah.
This is a pretty solid look. How would you feel about taking 2 inches out and just taking a look at it?
I'm thinking about a 3.
I like your style. We're getting along good. Already I could see that Lincoln and I just may really be able to get into some stuff. How about we chop it too? Take a look. You know, small steps. That way we don't have to go backwards. As simple as this procedure appears to be, I'm thinking it all the way through. I want to perform the modification and make it look seamless in the end. There's something about the cadence of my voice, the way that I work, puts the client at ease every time. Maybe a bit too much. What you think about that?
That looks perfect.
Full custom fit.
Feels right.
It's gonna take a little while for me to finish that welding, but that's the look, like the proportions. I mean, you look like you should be sitting in there. That's perfect. You said chop top. I saw no top, but we're on the way. I gotta say, there's a first time for everything, and the roofless chop top, it works. Lincoln's away on a scouting adventure, so I took it upon myself to finish all the welding on this thing. And I know this roll bar's out of proportion too, so I got a couple ideas to bring it all together. The roll bar in this Jeep is not suited for any kind of serious wheeling, you know, by today's standards, but it will provide some protection in a rollover. We're trying to do something that's at least as strong as the original. Yeah, perfect. First step is to get the mounting brackets in place and then build the roll bar to fit. Seeing Lincoln getting all excited about driving stick shift, he reminded me of myself when I was just a lad. Anything that had an engine, I just had a way of getting involved with it. I remember we were visiting some family friends. All the parents were having their conversation. I was wandering around the yard and there was the garden tractor. Came driving around, everybody's like, what are you doing? It's like, driving the tractor. So that's gonna be the mounting pads to start. All those years of doing the manual bender. You know, getting a little spoiled with all these deluxe tools is a nice thing, but you always gotta keep it balanced. You know, 1 foot in the future, 1 foot in the junkyard. All right, looks good. Definitely too tall. If we're just trying to make it look a little bit cooler, would the roll bar have a little tilt back to it? Would it be completely square? I think visually. Like, it might look a little bit cooler like that. Placement is everything. A wise man once said, don't look right, cut about a fistful off of it. All right, I think now we're more in the ballpark. Looking at the windshield and the hoop are parallel. Like looking at the rope on it, it's like that would be the top profile if it had a soft top or something. So it's a cool look, you know, it comes back like a fastback and then it's up and then it's down into the windshield. So it looks like this is going right into the windshield from the back. This Jeep isn't intended to be a super bad rock crawler. It's also not intended to be that mild grocery getter. It's all about Lincoln. It's unique to him, his development, and his future adventures. It's gotta fit the bill. I think we got this top wrangled into shape, but there's a whole lot more front, back, side-to-side action that needs to happen before this project's a wrap.
Lines up.
All right,
it's the perfect
that's how you're
size.
feeling. It's got a little snowplow feel to it. More of a cheese grater.
That is a 5-star bumper.
All right, I'm not arguing with you, you know. As perfect, as correct as this grill may seem, we also have some other options. Oh man, now you're cruising.
It looks kind of like it's trying to show off. This is supposed to be an old army truck, right? We don't need to add like Cadillac bumpers on it.
That's right. I like the way you put that. Look at that. True diamond in the rough. It's only 2 feet too wide.
Actually, I kind of do like that.
It's pretty mellow, right? I call this mission a success. We have a lot of options for any variables. Now it's time for the old slice and dice. I'm gonna cap this. I'm gonna make this much stronger. I think it'll really make the spring work a lot better if we have a cross member in here. Well, that being said, leads us to our prior discussion. How do we put this bumper on there? I'd say that looks pretty much in the ballpark. So look at that hang. That's like the Econoline van was super wide compared to this little Jeep. Looks like I'm gonna wanna take about minimum of 19 inches out of this bumper. 19 inches. That's 1.5 feet plus an inch. That's a lot of material. If this was like a regular city car, you know, you'd want that bumper protecting the front, right? But this is a trail rig, there's nothing to protect. So really, you want that tire to hit something. You don't want that bumper hanging up on anything. Mini bumper. Now we're talking. See, it's just like a center guard. I think it's a good look, you know? It's got some style. It's got this utility look, but just classed up a little bit. It's like a urban look for a off-road Jeep. All right, let's clean it up, weld her back together. I gotta say, the Econoline bumpers were the perfect choice for this because they were there. Old subtle finesse Rousseau. That's 24.5 inches narrower than it was. Yeah, I like it. It doesn't say too much, you know? I think we got the front of this Jeep buttoned up. It looks good, but the back half is a whole different story. I think it's gonna need a lot of full custom. There's no time like the present. I got the parts, I got the plans, and Mr. Bill's gonna leave me to have at it. No matter what the project is, I'm always thinking about how to make it look as sleek and unitized as possible. First thing is to get rid of all this business hanging off the back. What I really wanna do is have this trailer hitch in here behind the license plate. You wouldn't even know it had a trailer hitch until you lifted the license plate. And if you didn't know that the license plate lifted, you wouldn't know it had a trailer hitch. Sneaky. I wanted to set up this trailer hitch in the center of the frame, you know, the strongest part. Instead of having the old hitch, how it hung down, it would put a lot of leverage on the frame. This is gonna be right there in the middle of it. Looks good from here. It's interesting the way that this Jeep was set up because you had your chassis and a few other support pieces. I was able to reconfigure every stock element and grab onto this new trailer hitch receiver, this tube pierced through the chassis. Once this goes in, you put your hand back here and the pin slides in. Next step, rear bumper. I want to get this bumper up as high as possible, and these taillights are starting to bug me already. The art of this is just bang on it until it looks less bad than it was. This bumper's pretty beat up, and fortunately, I don't have to make it fit that Ford van anymore. So I'm just gonna bang it into shape so that both sides match. Look at that, straight as an arrow. Whoosh. Oh, I like it. Yeah, getting that bumper up, it hides all that old business. I'm gonna cut a square at about those calculations. There has to be a shroud of mystery behind every operation. Plus, you know, straight lines, they ain't my thing. The way the tailgate can still swing a ding. We'll put a couple brackets on this baby, and then we can work on narrowing it. So in the front bumper, I went really narrow because we were discussing that scenario of maybe like coming up on a rock or something where you don't want the bumper to hit. But in the back, I don't think that's as important. I think this shape follows this curve of the fender pretty well. And I like how this comes right in, but I don't like how that's gonna hit. Anybody who's done this will tell you it's all in the details, right? When something looks like it belongs, it's agreeable to the eye. That Econoline bumper, the placement, the trailer hitch, I think it fits. Plenty strong for what this Jeep's gonna be doing. Before I go any further, I gotta patch some holes, you know, tidy up the rear a little bit. At least now when the bodywork goes into play, there's no welding. Last but not least is this special hinged license plate bracket. How could I forget? Trailer hitch, no trailer hitch. Piece of cake. Nice and clean. I like how this wide plate does fill up this whole bumper, as if it was made for an older thing. We are getting down the road on this Willys. Makes me wish I was 12 years old, all over again. Bill and Lincoln are gonna spend some grandpa, grandson quality time, you know, finish this Jeep up. In the meantime, I got a little project I've been thinking about for myself. All right, now the real fun begins. You know, Lincoln's got his ideas about being a grown-up, driving a stick shift. And I got my own ideas about being 11 years old again. This is none other than the RCF Micro Mini, the miniest of mini bikes. My friend Evan makes these. The engine's very powerful for this size machine. He even upholstered this cool seat and sent it over to me. I mean, the neat thing about this is they designed the handlebars for somebody that is about 6'2", right? But yeah. I mean, definitely has a charm, right? Like most of my projects, the first mock-up might seem a little loose. And I mean, it does look kind of comical at this point, but I think we're on the right path. You know, I have a tendency to build stuff that I have a hard time fitting in, and this really takes us to the extreme. The whole idea for this thing is I want something tiny I can just throw in the back of the truck, putt around the car show, you know? But I think Lincoln would get a kick out of it too. I mean, if I was 11 years old and I saw a pink seated Micro Mini, I'd be all over that thing. These bikes have the cool retro vibe, but for myself, I'm seeing something a little different. That's what I do. I'm a customizer, so I'm gonna do something to it, make it a little bit my own. About time I cut a mini bike. Whenever I start a motorcycle project, I tack it to the table first. That way everything is centered and secure. That's a pretty big rake. I guess it would steer. What do I know? It looks cool, right? Yes, it does. Instant chopper. All of a sudden it has attitude. Look at that. All of a sudden it's going 100 miles an hour. I think I want the tires sitting out like that. I'm not a huge chopper terminology guy, but I'm making these front fork flipper details. You know, they're unique to this sugar bear style front fork. That's what I want. I want it funky. Those 70s stop chopper vibes. Shaped a little bit differently by the end of this, but I just want something to start with. I can dig it. I hope you can. So I need 2 brackets to hold this, and then the fork will just hoop up and over. There's a lot of different techniques to shape and cut metal. Think about the old-fashioned blacksmith with his coal-fired furnace. It never gets old. It's like a heavy metal fork. That's starting to look like a chopper, eh? Evan was kind enough to send 2 different fork sets with the project, and luckily for me, it's the exact material I need to finish off the front of this frame. I gotta say, these smaller projects are kind of fun, you know? I feel like an elf, a giant elf in Santa's workshop. You know, Honest Ian's Micro Mini Bike Customization Factory. I think we're getting close. It needs some handlebars. That is like the baddest kid in middle school just showed up to the football field. That's mean. That's like cartoon kid stuff. count me in. Definitely on the right path. This thing screams outlaw. It's almost ready to terrorize the desert streets. Similar to what I did with the front, I'm gonna add another solid rod element in the back to support the seat. Starting to look a little zigzaggy now. All right, now for the authentic envisioning process. It's Easy Rider, baby. I want it to be silly looking. You know, it's a mini bike, come on. Look at that, perfect fit. So that got me thinking, like the last piece of the puzzle is like the gas tank, right? And he made these awesome tanks. They originally were designed to go off the back like that, but I figured, hey, you know what? I want that thing front row and center. You know, rather than adding bulky hardware like you see with these clamps and the kit it came with, I think a much simpler design. Just one simple bracket and one threaded petcock to set it in place. That's actually the mounting point, you know, for whatever, the quart of gas you have in here. That way it's just like floating in the frame. That's pretty slick. I like it. Just silly enough. Oh, look at that fixture with the back. It's perfect. Just a nice little spring. Made it back to Bill's to see the finale of this Jeep project. And I got a little something to show Lincoln as well. Hey, Lincoln.
Hey, Ian.
Man, this thing looks awesome.
I know, right?
Walking in the door, it looks like something I remember. It just looks a lot better than I remember also. Wow, this thing turned out crazy cool.
We did a bunch of work to it.
Yeah, it definitely looks a little bit fresher than when I left. I love how you kept the rims matching the paint on the bumper.
The favorite things I added was probably the winch.
Heck yeah, if you get into real trouble, you'll be able to pull yourself out of a ditch.
Yeah.
Tires are cool. They're like knobby motorcycle tires or something. They could have gone any way with the paint and finish on this thing, but what I really appreciated was color matching the rims to the bumpers. Just puts a clean look around the base of the thing. They painted the roll bar black, takes a little of the statement off of that, and puts it on the wheel tire combo. It's just a clean ride. So have you even driven this thing yet?
No, actually, I'm a little bit nervous. But
I'm a little nervous too.
I haven't even driven clutch before either, so.
Really, not yet?
No.
It's a shakedown run, man. It'll be the first of many in your life. What could possibly go wrong?
It'll probably be fine.
Just walking in and looking at this thing, I was like, man, this thing must be a really cool vehicle to drive, right? And he's like, yeah, not yet.
This is definitely my favorite one that I've seen you do.
Oh, you haven't seen everything yet. You got to see what I've been working on at my shop. I got a little surprise for you. It might change your mind about this whole project. You might want to trade me.
Whoa!
Aha! The whole focus here is like Lincoln coming of age. He's growing up. He's gonna be a man someday and drive a stick shift. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of do the opposite, Lincoln. Check this out. I put this mini bike together with a quickness. And let me tell you, it's a handful. It's got way too much power and it's super loose driving it. It's exactly what I needed.
Now that is a chopper.
Mini chopper.
That's really cool.
I know you wanted to paint your Jeep pink and didn't do it. So I painted my project pink.
Wow, it looks really good.
At first, when I was building this, I was like, oh, it'd be the perfect trade-off, right? Like I could drive Lincoln's Jeep around, he could mess around on my mini bike. As soon as I got on this thing, I'm like, whoa, this thing is not a toy, it's a weapon. You know, I'm heavy, and that thing wants to do a wheelie when I'm on it. It's pretty sketchy to ride.
I'm not crazy, I'm not riding this thing.
Let's hide this over here before your grandpa gets any ideas about this thing. Hey, hey.
Howdy.
Nice little project you got here. It's classy.
Yeah, it's been fun. He worked hard, and it shows. We had a great time.
That's one thing Bill explained to me from the start. The root of it is grandfather, grandson kind of project, right? You get to do it for the first time once in a lifetime, and I think they really got together well on it.
This thing was like hard to see out of. You had that much glass. You added all that glass. The stance is just perfect. My favorite is the hidden hitch.
Gotta love it.
I think it turned out great. What is that?
That's a chopper. Haven't you ever seen one? That's one thing I know about Bill. He's not really into the wild stuff, so he gives a second glance like, how'd that thing get in the shop, right?
Is this just a man with too much time on his hands? What are we gonna do with it?
Absolute nonsense. Mayhem. It has no real purpose on this earth. Hey man, you gotta let me do a little bit of me sometimes. Come on.
That's great. Just great.
Old subtle Roussel just hung up his cap for good.
Yeah.
It's time to get back to the weird stuff.
Today's the day. This is his first day. We waited for you to come where you could be part of the driving experience.
Well, I know a little something about driving a Jeep. It's only natural, Bill respects me in a certain way, so he's like, hey man, teach the kid how to drive stick shift, right? He ain't gonna do it himself. And you pull it back, and then you're in first gear. Putting on my proper adulting cap at this moment. I'm telling him, this is what you gotta do, this is the way this functions, this is what happens in an emergency. So yeah, do as I say, not as I do.
This is great.
Lincoln doesn't seem to be too stressed. I remember my first time driving a stick shift, and I was pretty nervous. I know what the potential is here. My friend Tom gave me a ring and asked me to come by. He's always got something new in his ever-evolving stash.
What's up, Ian?
Howdy, howdy. Just here to check out your treasure trove. Oh, wow. Yeah, man, your truck's looking good. Last time I saw this thing, it was just a heap of parts. It's come a long way.
I tore it completely apart, powder coated everything, and just cleaned it up, but it's still all the old parts. It's a 42 Chevy from World War II.
But this isn't 42.
54 235, first
yeah.
year 235. That's a
You run that in a lowrider 54 Chevy.
Yeah.
Right
That's
on.
what that came out of, was a 54 Chevy car.
Perfect. I'm a sucker for any truck project, but walking in right away, I could tell Tom's going in a different direction with this one. When I look at it now, it looks so darn stubby.
But it was a long bed. I shortened it 20 inches.
It's got like T-bucket proportions.
Yeah, I
now.
went online and I saw Ian Roussel cutting a chassis, and I thought, I got to cut a chassis now.
I learned a little something from that guy too. It's pretty cool to inspire people to make a bold choice in their project. Just take 20 inches out of the length of the wheelbase, pretty substantial. Oh, I see, you cut it right here. Okay, yeah, that's what I would have done. Oh yeah, and then you just box it in a little bit. And you have a bed that's gonna go on?
Yeah, that's the reason why I shortened it 20 inches, because when I shortened the bed, it looked best at 20 inches shorter. Squared it and tacked it, squared it.
You probably did a better job than I do.
I doubt that.
Knowing Tom and what he's into, I can see a pretty clear path to kind of remedy the situation, improve on some, and just find exactly what he's looking for in the end. Honest Ian's one-stop chop top in session. I got a couple ideas regarding that.
Now you got me excited. I can't wait to see this thing done.
All right, man. Well, while you're all enthusiastic, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I say we just get into this.
Whatever you want to do, Ian.
Oh, famous last words. Ian, do whatever you want. I mean, we both know I've got some pretty wild ideas from time to time. I think we just cut the top right off and just discuss.
Oh, that sounds good.
I don't even know where it'll end up. We'll just kind of take it one piece at a time, as they say.
Okay.
You wouldn't mind pulling that welder over here.
It's about to get real, huh?
Oh, it's about to get real. It's like your wedding day, right? It's all fun and games until you're walking down that aisle.
Until Ian gets going.
This is the last time you'll see your truck in one piece, ever. I mean, for the next couple days. This is a story I'm very familiar with. It's as old as time. One minute, Tom and I are talking, laughing, discussing. The next minute, I'm cutting his truck in half. Could be a little unnerving. I'm used to it, but first-time client, not so much. Yeah, so something sort of like that, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. I do. I think that window opening looks better than the original window opening.
And you could see.
It does.
I cut it more than 2 inches.
What's that? You did cut it more than 2 inches?
That's more than 2-inch chop.
Okay.
I couldn't help it. Never trust a man
cool.
with a grinder in his hand.
With the cutting wheel, yeah.
Cool, let's chop the other side off. All jokes aside, when I was looking at it, to my eye, it's all about the proportions. So I'm an overachiever. I cut it a little bit more than 2 inches. I think we're both in agreement. This back window should stay the same size.
Yeah.
So we'll cut below. We'll do the chop through here in the back wall.
When you start cutting something apart, especially it's got different shapes to it and different curves, you're in trouble. Unless you know what you're doing, you're in trouble.
You're making your own puzzle, that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, it's just the picture. Right now, we're gonna puzzle it and then figure out how to make it lock back down. In the back, I'm gonna show you a pretty cool idea for this window. If we were to draw this, say, on graph paper, right? If you took a straight back view of this, you'd have this checkerboard, right? So the most horizontal line, I think, would be this window. The idea being when that comes straight down, you don't have any zigzag in the connection. So when you weld it, you're not trying to fill gaps. So those are just two reference points of being parallel. So now we're hitting on that trim and we're 3 1/4 to 5 1/4. And then this is the 2-inch chop through this area.
I got you now. I'm nervous but excited at the same time. I think you know what that means. I'm all on board here.
I remember my first date, don't worry.
Okay. I fell out of the back of a truck on my first date.
We'll just keep it at a strict 2 inches all the way around. We'll set the roof down and then we can make adjustments from there. Just the attitude of this cab in general, it's already got kind of that, forehead down appearance. So no rake in the chop, just straight down all the way around. True story, I learned this whole thing by watching Gene Winfield. That blue Packard is a perfect example of this, pretty bold, huge amount of work. I mean, it is a puzzle in the end because it's taken apart, shapes change, and you gotta put it back so it looks like the perfect picture. It's a little bit of math, but it's also just a lot of envisioning, You sit back and watch this dissected, exploded view of what it could be and how's it come back together.
Are we done, Ian?
Theoretically. I mean, this is actually the first time I've ever done this, so surprise, surprise. Now you got yourself a roadster. We got the cut, now we got to do the paste. That's where the rubber hits the road on this puzzle piece chop top. All right, man, I think it's that time. Let's put it on and see how far out of shape we got. The way I laid it out makes it look really straightforward, but there's a million places to go wrong. That's the way I have learned through trial and error, a lot of error. So let's just line up the back wall and see where we're at. Looky there. From the side, right? That looks pretty groovy.
The proportions are perfect.
I mean, you can see now it's got attitude, right? 2 inches isn't a big chop at all, but it does something.
Man.
The first look is the most exciting part of the whole project. You get to see all the potential before you put in the blood, sweat, and tears before the rest of the project comes together.
I feel 100% better now.
Well, that's good news because the work hasn't even started. This thing has just been nipped. It's time to get into the actual surgery.
Uh-oh.
In talking with Tom, he made it very clear that he wants me to just focus on the chop while I'm here. This project has been his baby, long-term deal, and he wants to finish it up on his own. It allows me to really take my time, discuss with Tom, and teach him a bit on exactly what it takes to pull through this. This is where the issue of putting the puzzle back together starts. We're a solid inch smaller. The typical thing you'll see so much is they cut right through the center of the roof and split it. They widen the whole thing. But that means you have to pin in this 1-inch band across the whole span of the roof, right? And that gets complicated. That could get all warped out of shape. It gets real weird. So I have an idea that will help us with that.
Okay. Are you finding, is that how you're finding the high spot?
I guess sometimes my bare bones approach is a little surprising. This is gonna pop the roof into 2 pieces right now, front and back. Let's see how it falls apart.
What the heck?
I literally had no idea what just happened. I just thought it was like a piece of the brackets from inside the truck. I'm walking away and Tom's like, those are dinner spoons in the roof.
They're military, I think. Look at that.
And then there says 42.
U.S. Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
Archaeologist here now.
I've never put a utensil in the roof rail of my vehicle. Like what? Did they just like steal them from the mess hall? Like that midnight chocolate pudding adventure, it's on tonight. Clink. All right, now back to our regularly scheduled chop top. Ta-da. That's just zip right into place.
Oh my God, everything lined right up, yeah?
Everything lines up like a puzzle. People look at it and it doesn't look like it's too tall. It looks right now.
Yeah. Or they're gonna go, what's different about that cab?
So my mom said the day I was born, something different about this. It's not every day when I have a spare, complete, identical vehicle at my disposal while I'm doing a project like this. You know, typically it's the exact opposite way around. They got half a vehicle and they need me to build an entire one out of that. Everything about this is clean, clean, clean. Just in looking at it, there's a few key pieces of this that make it worth chopping up as a parts truck.
And look behind you, there's the dune buggy wheels and tires.
Oh, this is part of the different look kit?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. The authentic beach buggy wheel.
That's what I remember as a kid. The guys ran just the white wall tires just blown up.
Before they had paddles or anything, right? Tom is a darn good parts sourcer. Like every time I show up at his place, it's like, where do you even get that? For me, that really short steps my operation because it's like they're doing the footwork and I get to select. It's kind of a shame we're cutting this all the way apart, but it's also kind of not a shame because we're ending up with a really clean custom deal.
It'll make this one perfect. I love the chop. I can't believe how fast you got to this point, and it makes complete sense when you see how you do this.
This thing is red hot. We got one on the grill and one ready for the frying pan. Prepare your appetites for some freshly prepared chop tops. The B-pillars, I'm gonna leave a little loose because I want to address this right now. I don't like welding that close together if I can avoid it. But since I have this cab, I'm just gonna utilize this piece if it's the exact same stamping in here. It's a bit of a different job having this donor truck available to us because it really simplifies the process. There's almost no fabrication. All the replacement pieces don't have to get made. They just get taken from that vehicle. Simplifies the amount of welding. Lucky for me, I'm used to living in a not so perfect world. Back in the 40s, I guess things weren't super specific. They're darn close, but they sure ain't the same stamping. So you can see everything in the world is not exact. That drip rail is just a little bit different contour towards the bottom. Either way, we have a few bridges to cross. These cars don't like to build themselves. I'm gonna continue weld the roof skin, and then later I'll put a flat bar in there and I'll hammer that drip rail to exact specifications. That's it, that's the structure. Gotta fill in this hole in the roof. Tom didn't want no sunroof, and he ain't getting no stinking sunroof. Time to butcher the cab. By butcher, I mean extraction, precision. It's like that game Operation, you know, with the tweezers. One wrong move, you're out. You can tell by the slice in the roof, we're gonna need about 2 fingers more. So we're gonna make that roof cap 4 fingers more. Let's cut this off and see what we're working with. With a piece of vintage Americana like this, we have to handle it in the most delicate way. If it has any dome at all, we're gonna just try to remove a little bit of it. Just flatten it out just a wee bit. Look at that. Little crazy glue. We're ready to rock. Notice the gap here. As I trim this donor roof back towards this cut, I can get them to really get closer. So they lap maybe only by 1/4 of an inch. See here, we would have had to cut this strip straight through the entire roof. And this just spreads out the work, a lot cleaner end result. So that's pretty much it. Clamp it and slowly weld it back into place. I gotta say, the dome on this roof is looking good. It's coming together. The next challenge is to get these door tops fitted up and welded on. Slow and steady. Takes a long time to weld this sheet metal back together, so I don't want to overheat it. And if that gets upside down or warps, big trouble. I'm happy with the way that this is progressing. You can see how it's developed with these 2 vertical cuts on each side of the rear window. The curvature of the roof needed to be shrunk in a little bit, and that's standard procedure on a cab like this to make a better contour. This structure is fully in place. This roof cap adds a huge amount of torsional strength to the cab. I'll patch this in last, but I want to do this door tops around using a piece of this original door and a piece of the donor cab door. I did notice that these cabs are slightly different, but I'm hoping that these door frames are identical. I try to avoid stacking welds. If you're making a deck or doing roofing, you always stagger the seams, right? So you got seam, seam, and I'm gonna try to put one back here. I don't like that join up at all. I'm looking at the fit up and man, that's a big difference. I mean, can these cabs really be that far off? Oh, it's in the 2-inch piece. That's what it is. It's in the section of the chop. Let me find that thing. Pretty good at holding on to used parts, but keeping them organized, that's a whole different story. It's not that one. There's one here. Oh, brother. I've done it now. There it is, the missing link. I gotta put that back on and start above that. Oops. The mark of a true professional is how you handle your mistakes, right? So thankfully that thing was still in the room. As I was saying before that brief interruption, let me mark it, cut it, and see how it lines up. Trying to use this, but they're just not the same. Let me see what this one looks like. Sometimes it's hard to think with 30 million degrees of sun rays penetrating the shop. If you've never tried working in the Mojave Desert in the middle of July in a steel building, you ought to try it sometime.
What's up, Ian?
Whew, it's hot.
Wow.
It's getting there.
It's got a top on it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow, man, that's cool.
So yeah, what I'm doing is I'm hammering it with a dolly, welding some more, and working through it.
Yeah, I like it. That looks really good.
For me, it's all about that first impression. You know, how do you feel when you walk right up and take it in?
Man, I don't know how you did it, but I can hardly see the difference right here, right now. You fixed it.
Yeah, man. It was, I just welded the bottom, and then I used the clamp,
Yeah.
and I just drew it up, so the heat kind of allowed it to stretch upwards.
Man.
I'm pretty sneaky, man.
The two trucks together right there. Look at that. Yeah.
Shuts like it's supposed to.
Man, I'm sorry that you know what, though? That's been the biggest monkey wrench so far, right?
Yeah, very
Is that-
minor, too.
Yeah,
Very
okay, okay, I'm glad you said that. I don't know what difference between minor and major is on this stuff, because I've never done any of this, but
Major problem is when I can't figure it out. All in all, I think it's a darn good fit up. In the end, the donor cab really did streamline this. All right, last part of the puzzle, the piece that I took out of the corners, I'm just gonna reuse that and then patch in the top right here.
you found everything in my shop, huh, Ian?
Kind of a snoop like that, man. You should see me at my friend Bill's house. I know where all his best projects are, man.
You know, you look so easy that everybody at home's going, hell, I can do that.
You can, man. It just
Takes a screwdriver and a welder.
yeah, and 30 years of messing it up. And then you start to get the hang of it. Well, that's the story, sir. I'm just gonna keep on welding, and pretty soon you'll have a truck again.
I'm excited, man. Look at that. That's just one of these here, you know.
It's really gonna take just welding to finish this cab up. I'm gonna pick at it for a couple of days, and I'm looking forward. Tom says we can get this thing in a mock-up pretty quick. Did all the welding and grinding, came back to my friend Tom's shop, and he's got some progress on this thing. It's looking like a truck now. It looks good with the bed. I mean, the proportion of the roof height now and this.
It made everything look better. I primered it too because I wanted just to get an idea of what it looks like as a complete truck, because I want to get it going and I want to drive it.
Right, keep the inspiration
I want to
going.
drive it, yeah.
Tom said he's been with this project for years and years. He's in no rush to finish it, but I think chopping this top lit a little fire under him.
Not even any body work done yet, and look at that. It just looks nice.
Yeah, it's crazy how 2 inches really does make a difference.
Yeah, it's a little too long.
Tom immediately walking in the door, he's like, look at the bed. Even though it's shortened 20 inches, I still got to shorten it more.
I think the bed should be cut off right at the end of the chassis right here, right at the springs.
Yeah, I agree with you. That way it's got that whole stubby look, you know, like an off-road truck. That's what you're doing. You're pulling all the overhanging sheet metal in. I like you finished off the grill and the headlight.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Thank
Super
you.
clean.
Appreciate that, yeah.
Looks good, man. I want to see with those buggy tires. The thing that hooked me from the start was, yeah, it's going to be a beach buggy. You know, it's going to drive on the sand. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. Right now, it's got the big and littles, it's got the hot rod look. You know, I want to see it in full fun mode. Pretty cool that you're able to find those wide rims in 6 lug.
You want to hear something crazy? I bought these at a yard sale 40 years ago.
Huh. I'd call this a long-term success story. You know, Tom's looking at it like, yeah, finally, right? After 40 years, I mean, I was 11 when he started this truck.
In a 1961 Hot Rod magazine, this is what they had. They had tires ballooned over the rims. I think the reason why they're usually white walls, that was the bigger tires. That was for the bigger cars. Like the Cadillacs and the Packards.
Oh yeah, paddle tires
had
didn't
junk
exist.
stuff, yeah.
For sure.
They didn't have paddle tires back then. If they did, most people couldn't afford them, so.
Tom built this entirely in the vein of that first generation sand car, right? When they just had some old junk laying around, they would take some ratty old bias plies, make their own rims, and just do whatever they could to get some flotation on the sand. That says fun buggy. And I mean that in the best sense of the word. Like, it's a fun buggy. Like, you're meant to get in there and go have a ball on these sand dunes.
It's exactly what I wanted.
That's all it needed was 2 inches off the top and another 1.5 feet off the rear. This thing belongs on a Beach Boys album cover, man. Need some surfboards on there and you're cruising down the ocean. This is sweet.
Kind of like the black rims, too.
Out here at my friend Bill's place, he said, hey, come by. Guess what? I got another truck. You know Bill, he's a truck guy. He just can't quit the habit. Here he goes again. Bill and I have done a ton of projects together. I could see a cycle, like he's improving with every one. Each project comes from a better starting point. He usually manages to get his hands on some interesting stuff, and this truck's no different. Wow. It's even got that old truck smell. That's a unique rust pattern. Usually it's down in here. Usually you see all this gone. It says 61,000 miles on it. I might just believe that. Look at that, never hit, never painted, never known nothing. In a quest to live my life by the true metaphors of the universe, I will not judge a book by its cover. But I will give it a thorough once-over and then cast my judgment. This is like, yeah, barn find potential. Yeah, and in the rear, it's more of the same. Just good, wholesome truck. In this day and age, to walk up on a vehicle that is in the unmolested, unchanged status, it's pretty unique. Hello, sir.
Mr. Russell, my favorite fabricator.
Wait, you mean there's others?
No, I just have you. That's all I need.
Okay, cool. This is quite a charmer, huh?
Well,
talk about a barn find.
One family owned
Huh.
since '62.
Wow.
A friend of mine found it, and I went to look at it and just had to have it.
Yeah, I could see why. I mean, it's in great shape.
They started messing with the top and didn't prime it, didn't do anything, and of course,
So they actually did cut that open.
I guess.
Okay, because I was like, this doesn't add up. It doesn't look like your typical rust. Seeing the rust damage on this, it's really impossible to know what's going on under the surface. The openings in this one are curious to me. Anybody that knows rust knows that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Everything seems to work. 3-speed with an overdrive.
Nice.
Most people looked at the roof and said, boy, that's bad. I looked at the roof and said, where's Ian?
You know a guy with a welder, don't you?
Yeah.
Remember that old commercial, Mikey Likes It? Well, this is sort of like that, but it's Ian can fix it. It's never a dull day. There is something to be said, like the time machine scenario, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a real deal 62 Ford.
Yeah. I don't know, it just stole my heart when I saw it. I liked everything about it, and so here we are.
Yeah, in stock form, these trucks are great. I had a 64. It was a Mercury. It was from Canada.
Oh,
It was the unibody style, but I mean, just had the V8, had all the stock stuff, and it just drove great. I'm feeling the Survivor vibes on this thing, definitely. I mean, there's something to be said for like retaining the actual, showroom feel, just rolling down the road in a bit of a time capsule. Plus, I know Bill, and sometimes, in fact, most times, it's better to ease him into custom action.
Interesting, they call this a custom cab.
It's a full custom kit.
Now, I don't know what that means.
When we're done with it, it's going to be a custom cab.
Yeah, it needs a little Racel. I like the drip rail. If you could keep that, I'd really.
Yeah, I mean, I got some ideas already about that roof skin, but the primary factor is to get in there and stop that rust on the interior panels, because that's starting to get pretty chunky.
I'm always excited when you come to work on my projects. I never know exactly where you're going.
That makes two of us. One of my favorite things about visiting with Bill is he's always got a rotating stock, you know, and it would not be a trip to Bill's without a quick tour around the neighborhood. What's going on with that?
Well, the panel trucks, 46 Chevrolets, both of them.
Wow.
Real projects.
Huh.
I mean,
Need everything.
everything.
Okay.
There's a lot of potential there.
No doubt.
That's
just,
for sure.
As you say, it's literally strapped together.
Yeah.
Now, what the heck is this thing? Now you're talking my language.
One of the guys that works here part-time, Danny, is building that.
Even got a motor on it. I mean, nothing says outlaw like a motorcycle with no license plates. Let's run it. I got one word, man. Chingon. Yeah, I mean, these are definite long-term potential, but let's stick to the order at hand.
I agree.
I'll get some ideas together on that unit down there, and we'll just keep thinking about these.
I like it.
Yeah. There's a few different ways about going forward on this particular project. Looking back through my mental Rolodex, I remember a friend of mine has something that just might work.
It's a 62 F100 four-wheel drive. It originally belonged to a good friend of mine that I was a sailor with. And we used to drive this thing out in the desert, boondocking, yank the engine out, and I've pretty much been sitting on it ever since.
Every truck's got a story, man. I love if you're not that attached to it, we could do a little horse trading, and
It's gonna have a new lease on life.
at least parts of it will. The one thing about dumpster diving is it's not as easy as picking something off the shelf. It looks like this rig is missing a critical element. It's got no rear axle. Well, I got my trailer.
Maybe we could lift it up and just drive the trailer, you know, right under it.
It's always a new page opening, a new story unfolding. Things get kind of crazy in the Wild West. You're gonna have to pull them tires. Got this thing loaded up, heading back down the hill to Mr. Bill's. All right, twin trucks. Love these mirrors. The roof skin is pristine. That's the big deal on this. I didn't realize this is a long bed. That's a short bed. Look at that, I could almost grab this one. Good thing we don't need the bed. Comparing these two side by side, it looks like this one has all the parts for the old cut and paste trick. There it is. I know what you're thinking. Wow, Ian, you didn't break the glass. Well, I can be delicate too, you know. So on this one, I'm just gonna take the entire roof cap right off and then start to hog out from the inside, the exact reverse of what I did on the other truck. I think I just found an excuse to make that roadster pickup truck I've always wanted. That back window doesn't look like it's the same flow. Old habits die hard. What can I say? One farm fresh roof skin. Let's get that truck out of here. Let's take out this ancient artifact. Yeah, look at that. Rust free. That is the desert, ladies and gentlemen. I want to leave the drip rail, but remove the structure. So I think I'm gonna take the disc and put it in this way now. Now that the skin's on the table, I can trim away everything I need using my patented surgical precision. So now you have all the structure of the truck intact with this front windshield surround preserved on the other vehicle. As long as those folks at Ford used the same tools to make these two roofs, we're gonna find out. I did all the prepping I could in 2 stations. It's time to put it together and see if it fits. A hot dog. That don't fit like a Ford roof skin should. The two-tone is pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that, but it brings out the bumper. The white and white. Looks like a creamsicle. There's just so much to be said for the factory stamped sheet metal. It fits identical, it fits perfect. And the patina, the color of the paint, actually works great as well. See how this roof has a little clip on it? And then there's still one remaining on the truck. So that's your front alignment right there. Both of these vehicles were prepped out more conservative than the final fit up. So now that the pieces are kind of stacked, just the last bit of trim and nip to make it happen. The process at this point is welding it together and just trying not to burn too much paint off. It's gonna get hot on top for sure, but you know, you're only gonna see the seams around the backside. The front welding is buried in the rain gutter with the sealer that'll go in there. I'm feeling good about this swap. You know, I still got a few tricks up my sleeve to make Old Orange come full circle. Got the roof skin buttoned up right on time. Here comes Mr. Bill on his trusty green steed.
Master Russell, how is my orangey red truck?
It's a little more like your white hat at the moment. Check out the new cap on this sucker.
Oh my gosh, you put a whole new roof on it.
Correct. And look at the drip rails. I changed those too.
Perfect. Yeah.
I didn't think you wanted to repaint the whole truck, right?
No.
Just give it a detail, yeah. Do a little touch up around where I welded, and it looks like it was always that way.
That is terrific. White top, I never even thought of that. You made a real truck out of this. That is just great.
It's good to see Bill excited on the progress. This kind of change is right in line with what he likes. You know, I did major surgery, but it looks like not much went on.
When I saw the donor truck parked in my driveway, I thought, wonder what Ian's got in mind.
Plot's thickening. So the good news about that truck is it's got a lot of pieces. I noticed your parking brake was broken. It's got all the interior mechanisms for the doors. It's got a brand new windshield in it. So you got a few good things out of that.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll pick it apart like a chicken.
One thing that was bugging me is the fact that there's no rear bumper, you know? It's like, well, it's got a front, but there's no rear. You know, if it had a trailer hitch or something, it would add up, but it's just blank sheet metal. But I was thinking something a little more classy, a little more style to it, you know? I'm rooting through my own part stash, and I think I might just have one thing to solve this dilemma. It's a pretty generic looking shape, but it's got that interesting rise.
It still has the same arch as that. It's just enough to be a bumper.
I'm not sure what this came off of. I almost feel like it was on a car sitting like that.
Yep. So what are you gonna, just bolt it on and then look at it from this side?
Do you think I got a plan? Come on.
Have at it.
I really do like the back of the sheet metal on this truck. You put the bumper in at the height of the lower portion of the quarter panel and it just flows right out. With a utility vehicle like a truck, a pickup truck, the bumpers are literally just that. They're for bumping into things. You can see how high-tech this is. I mean, no expense spared in the rigging and jigging in this operation. So we got these brackets in here, and I don't want to mess with that because that's our welding on potential. We're going to narrow it in this vacant area through here. Mini bumper. Got this really high-tech straight edge out of Bill's toolbox. Fortunately, this bumper is the same dimension all the way through, but it's important to get it straight when you're aligning it for welding. Such a clean-looking design to bunch it up with welds or any other modifications would take away from it, so it's got to be a seamless mod. This is pretty cool. These bumpers mounted flat up on the panel. And they're gonna do the same on this truck. Can't argue with that. Now it's like, oh yeah, look at the truck body and then the bumper, just a little accessory. Simple, hang that license plate just down a little bit. I think that's the most that this bumper has to offer, is that it kind of smooths the line between those cheeky quarter panels under the taillights and just a bland flat cross panel on each side of the license plate. It shows you the old nip and tuck. Sometimes it's the answer. paint that white, call her done. This thing is definitely making progress. It just leads to think, what's next? Anybody home? Speaking of trucks, out of the blue, I get a call from my friend Tom. This project and I have a little bit of unfinished business.
Hey,
How's
Ian.
it going?
How you doing?
I know you said you made some progress, but wow.
It's a driver. It runs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
It runs really good too.
This thing looks great. It's a 1942. It was a military truck, a long bed, just a big utility vehicle, and he got a little wild with it. He shortened the entire chassis, bobbed off the bed. I did a chop top, little hot rod 6-cylinder engine. He's like, no, it's not a hot rod. It's not a street truck. It's a toy. Think of it as a giant toy truck. All I could say was, yeah, you're preaching to the choir, sir. I gotta say, I do love the big puffy tires, but these are cool too. Like you're saying, it's like the model kit where it's dual purpose, right? I'd like to see this thing run. You gonna pull it in?
Sure.
Heck yeah. It's got the twice pipes. It is exactly like the toy that he was describing. I mean, he was talking about these magazines and showing me different model kits, and I'm like, yeah, dude, like that's exactly what it would look like in the 60s, no doubt. Hold on, never mind this truck. Look at this thing. This is the real deal.
That was given to me.
What?
It's a hot rod from the 30s.
Oh, wow.
During the war, they made a truck out of it for
Like
rations.
so many other ones, right?
Yeah, for war rations, yeah.
In World War II, there were gasoline rations, and as I understood, you could get more if you drove a truck. The car's been lowered a bit. It's been chopped pretty significantly, and just a really nice touch with the windshield and convertible top. And it's got that weird back end. I mean, it is technically a truck.
I think it's been chopped at least 4 inches.
At least, look
Yeah,
how low that
yeah.
is. I mean, this gas tank is obviously not original. That's
Yeah, first thing I always do if I get a car is I get it running and driving.
Yeah. Crazy when an antique like this just runs.
It's cool. This thing here, we're okay with. That's the one we need to work on.
Yeah, I agree. I brought some tubes. Let me show you the bends I got. This, right? That's just about where you want to be. It really fills out the back of the truck. Right, so this would come in and turn down below the license plate, and then the bottom part would reverse like that.
Yeah, just put a little spacer in there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great idea, Ian, right there.
After laying out a few ideas, it seems like we got a good jumping off point with these large bends. That would look pretty cool, no?
No, I like it. No, I like it, yeah.
You heard the boss. Commence the building, Captain. That's the first part of it. It's gonna need 2 vertical bars where the chassis grabs this bumper, so if we do that, that'll keep it locked. Not only will the vertical bars support the bumper hoop, they will act as the mount to the chassis. And to my eye, the spacing looks like it can be improved on. So our chassis is as wide as this, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if we have our uprights this close to the end, it's gonna look funny, but the closer we can bring them into center, it'll look more proportional with our little detail in here, you know?
Yeah.
You know, we could favor it out to here. How do you feel about that?
I'll be honest with you, I have no idea.
Are you all right?
You're losing me, Ian. Usually you don't lose me, but you lost me.
This happens every time, man. See, my mind thinks in obtuse dimensions. My workflow style is purely alone. So I get a good idea in the heat of the moment, I execute it. I guess the flip side of that is not really being able to describe myself that well. No, dude, we're just gonna do this, that, and the other thing. It's gonna be fine, trust me.
This bumper's coming out cool. I'm liking it.
It's more art than it is function, right?
That's what I said, you're an artist, man. Oh yeah, look at that. That
It's
is
not
cool.
such a big high boy now.
Yeah.
It drops it down a little bit.
I like it. I like that, yeah.
Good answer. The other answer might not.
I almost don't want to open it up now. What the heck? Let's hang the plate in there and see what happens.
It might be pretty slick if the plate just floated, like it didn't even attach to the bumper, you know? It was off the chassis just sitting there with a cool frame around it.
Man, now you're confusing me, Ian. What the heck?
Joe Schmo's Raceway. See you on Saturday. And that's kind of why I wanted to start this, because it's like, man, that has such a uniform, you know, feel to it. Would this have like a lot of busy metalwork on it because it's such a simple truck? I don't know.
Yeah.
This is all part of the creative debacle. I mean, once you change one thing, you sometimes got to change everything. Just like with the back, we made some progress, but in the front, like anything's possible, man. Style-wise, think about it. I mean, we could do another mini tube bumper like that for the front. Could be V'd out, could be a single tube. We could do 15 tubes. Anything can happen.
My mind's all over the place now because of that. It is.
Honest Ian's Bumper Building Service, here to consult and confuse on the daily. I gave Tom a bit of time just to give the old stare down and see how he's feeling about this bumper. If you want to keep this as we built it, then it's as simple as just attaching it to some mounts.
I like it just like it is.
I still think it looks like some kind of workout equipment or something.
It looks just like something Ed Roth would have built back in the 60s.
Straightforward enough. We could just make some nice brackets, you know, make it look discreet, like we were talking about maybe that floating license plate in the center.
I'm gonna wait until you've got that completely mounted before I even start thinking about the license plate. If it's centered down there, it may not be centered from here.
Now you're talking my language, like the great sculptors of days gone by. When the figure is on top of the building, the head is actually out of proportion. It's bigger.
Oh yeah,
because you're looking at it like that.
Yeah.
It's all so delicate. I mean, angles, distance, size. How could one possibly take it all in?
Well, actually, I'm just gonna have my wife come out and tell me that looks good. Rank, do it.
Sometimes that works too.
Yeah.
So in the end, that's what it adds up to. Two simple, discrete brackets, welded inside and out.
No, I love that thing. It looks like something out of one of my old 60 hot rod magazines.
Agreed.
The surprise for me was the way you mounted it. I did not see that coming, and I like that. Way cleaner. You don't have all this busyness down here now.
Yeah, he likes it. By golly, he likes it.
Look at that bumper. You like the way the taillights are positioned?
Yeah, I mean, I love the traditional lights, but you know, what if there was like a round thing? That to me says like 60s.
Yeah. I kind of like that idea.
Do you have an old trailer light or anything laying around?
Oh, heck yeah. Do I got an old taillight hanging around? Yeah, we are.
Oh yeah, that's like the time period too, man.
Yeah.
Right in there, just about centered.
Well, I may get custom on you, huh?
That's what I'm saying. If it was my truck, I'd have these taillights. In the meantime, I'm gonna get into this front bumper design and Tom's gonna hang the license plate. Well, since I have free reign, I could get obnoxious with it. It's a little trick, that way it's just a hidden nut. Yeah, so it's just welded to a washer, set it in the tube like such. If all my calibrations are correct, this thing might just bolt on. Yeah, man, how about that?
I like it. Looks good.
Nice and clean, right?
Yeah, that's usually the best way.
Yeah, see, once you got that grill on, right? Boom, then you got that whole V shape really
yeah.
represented. Nothing like seeing a project in motion, especially at a distance, you know, you really get to take it all in. Heck yeah.
Oh, look at that bumper from here, man. It's cool.
It's really fun, you know, building a car, but it's driving them is when you really feel the flavor come out. And this one's got a ton of personality. This thing corners like a forklift. Look at the turns it does. Super fun.
I'm thinking of doing those taillights like you said.
Yeah, man, one piece at a time. You're closer than you were yesterday.
Oh yeah, I'm getting there.
Another satisfied customer. Now it's back to Mr. Bill's to see what's going on with Old Orange. Back out here at Bill's Ranch, and he says the truck is ready to rock.
Well, there's your pickup. Had my guys do a little work on it.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look great?
I love how they treated the paint.
Yeah, my faux guy does a good job.
Yeah, no kidding. Look at that roof. It's like it was never even changed.
Yep, the roof is perfect.
Cool job. It was really interesting to me how they kind of faux finished the front and rear bumpers to match the roof cap. Pretty slick stuff. Because when you open the door, it's like the dashboard and the top, they make a statement together.
Yep.
That's really what I was hoping for. There's something about the white paint, when I put that new skin on, it's just like, wow, it kind of brightens the whole truck up. It's interesting. By leaving that factory seam, between the window and the roof cap and putting the weld in that nondescript area. Slapping new drip rails on both sides. It worked out pretty clean.
Oh, it's great. Drip rails were non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, it makes these projects so much better if you have a parts or a donor. I mean, look at everything you got off that donor truck.
The big bonus here was the donor truck. Not only did it have the roof sheet metal and a couple other accessories, it had this pristine windshield in it as well. One other thing about the donor truck was it had these cool side view mirrors, and they just scream, you know, California custom truck scene from back in the day. Standing in the back of the truck looking forward, I would see these bumpers hanging out past the fenders, and I thought, well, we're really inside on the rear. We got to tuck that front in as well. This stamped line takes a hard turn right here, right? That looks cool, but then this thing is just kind of flying way out. What if we could get that bumper to match that as closely as possible? This is gonna turn something like that. I think one of the goals with customizing is to make the vehicle more seamless, make it look like a lot less has been added on. This bumper does have a more molded to the body shape now than being accessorized. The key mandate with this from the start has been like old school, survivor, kind of stock, but different.
I love the back bumper instead of the big clunker commercial diamond plate thing that was on there.
The chrome was the only thing bothering me about this back bumper, so I love what they did. It just looks like it was always there. I don't even know where that came from. I can't wait for the person that tells you.
Yeah.
I love the wheels and tires too. It looks like it should be that way.
Yeah. It's just some subtle things you did, and it's a survivor. It's great. I love everything about it. I wouldn't change a thing. Sometimes it's better just to leave it alone. Hard for you to do.
I didn't say that, but it worked this time.
I want you to take it for a ride. It runs good.
I want to know what 1962 feels like.
There you go. Purrs like a kitten.
Sure does. This thing sounds good. The cool thing about this truck is it's got a V8 in it from the factory. This truck's got a lot of torque. Man, manual steering, manual brakes, roll-up windows. That's what's happening. It's interesting, you step into this thing and it's like a time machine. All of a sudden, Bill's telling me war stories from back in the day. He's having flashbacks. I tell you, 1962 was a mighty fine year.
Yes, sir.
I've driven a lot of different vehicles, but there's something about the pickup trucks in the 60s, they really hit a different stride. They went from this almost tractor-style driving, like very archaic, to this thing, even with a solid axle, it's got smoothness and it's got power. I'm not sure what it is specifically about trucks, but it's kind of like the family dog, right? Where it's just like, it's always there, it's always reliable. It's just a unique thing. I gotta say, it's authentic, man.
Yeah, I think it's a keeper, Ian.
Bill is one happy customer, I gotta say. You can tell in the tone of his voice when he's satisfied and he's like, yeah, this is just what I needed. Chevrolet parking lot in the International compound?
Chevrolet.
Wow.
This will surprise you, neither are runners.
What? It ran great when you parked it, right?
Yeah.
What kind of used car salesman
Yeah.
are you? Trying to feel out Bill and then feel out the vehicle as well. At the beginning of every project, obviously the condition of the vehicle is always the most important thing to me. Yeah, this one's pretty hammered, sir. It's,
Well, I bought these together.
Oh.
I loved this one, and that kind of went with the deal, and I thought maybe some parts were needed or something.
So this is a 54, right? I recognize
Yes.
this grill. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like it too. When I saw this, it reminded me so much of when I was a kid, raised on a chicken farm, and we had one very similar to this. I have really great memories of it.
Bill's telling me the story about this pickup truck and, you know, his childhood memories. You know, he's got some passion for this thing before we even lay a hand on it, which is great. Bill's whole concept for this truck, you know, he loves the stock paint. He just wants to modernize it. It's got to be rock solid driver, and I got a couple ideas to just get it right out of the gate. If you want to reinvent the wheel and go super crazy, we can modify this chassis, but you know, like we did with the Ranchero, you're like, never really handled well, never stopped well, we're in the same predicament with this.
Exactly.
The TCI makes a chassis specifically for these years' trucks, and it's a freeway machine. I mean, it's proven. If you want that rock solid deal, why not just do that? Well, we can focus on the more creative aspect of this.
You know, I really wasn't thinking about a complete chassis. Ian has always steered me in a way that's a little uncomfortable for a moment, but he always pulls it off, and I always love it at the end. I didn't realize they made all of that, where you could just, boom, bolt that on.
Yeah.
Sounds good? Do it.
Bill tells me, do whatever you want, and you know, I sign on, so okay, I got ideas, you know, let's start hashing this thing out. Looks like we got good potential with this green truck. He's also got the parts truck in addition to it. I say let's just get this thing in the shop and get to work. Once it was decided that we're gonna upgrade the entire chassis on Bill's old truck, I went straight to TCI. They've got the hot ticket. Hey man, how's it going?
Good, Ian. Nice to finally meet you, man.
Good to be here.
Welcome to our home.
You got quite a setup. I can't wait to see what you got going on.
Let's take a look around.
Cool. TCI is a parts fabrication company. In addition to suspension components, they make chassis, all kinds of subframe kits, complete frames, rolling chassis, you name it. What's going on here, man? The engine's in the wrong place.
Trying to put as much weight on the back axle as possible. It's going to be twin turbo, so the nickname for the truck is C-Twin. It's going to be a little bit on the extreme side. Roughly about 1,000 horsepower this will make.
Nice.
I kind of took charge of this build a couple years ago, and I don't think they ever assumed that it would go this far.
I love the brackets that hold the turbos. You know, everything is just nice.
I mean, we've all watched the show. We've seen some of the crazy contraptions that Ian's come up with. You think up an idea like you, and you run with it. That whole firewall I made, the more I watch this show, the more confident I get. So I'm not a sheet metal guy. You know?
You are now. Looks good to me. Looking inside the truck, it's like, hey, that's something I would do. With Jason's setback engine design, you're completely cutting out the floor of the vehicle, so it was a really simple solution to take this Astrovan engine cover to make a airtight seal. I'm not sure really where his mind was at during this process, but I'd say he full custom nailed it. This looks familiar.
Yeah, so this is a little Model A, yeah. Full functioning shop, man.
You ain't kidding.
Well, here's your chassis.
Oh, wow.
Ready to go home with you.
That looks a little more developed.
We had the chassis assembled and ready to go before Ian got here. A little bit of a surprise.
Adjustable coilover, four-wheel disc brakes.
Yeah, Ride-Tech coilovers front and rear.
Oh yeah, look at that sway bar in the back and in the front.
Throw some wheels on this thing, load it in the trailer.
Now this is what I'm talking about. You saw what we were working with on that pickup truck. This looks like a race car. You know, you see pictures in a magazine or a catalog, it doesn't do justice. Like seeing this thing from a plate of steel to this, that's heavy duty. Thanks again, man. This is exactly what the client needs to see. I'm excited to just roll it home.
I'm excited to see this truck finished.
This chassis swap is the game changer. I got a bunch of ideas I want to bounce off Bill. Just got to get this chassis back to the shop and go to work. Out with the old, in with the new. This chassis is at Bill's, and it's time to take this truck apart. My plan on disassembling this is cut everything off that we're not using. The body's free, the bumpers are free, but you see it's all still together. It's stuck. So I'm gonna try to use the persuading tool. I have a lot of tools, but on the top of the list, you know, caveman technology, it's kind of my ace. Bill wasn't really specific about what he wanted, except that he wanted it to look old. So my whole plan here is to fool everybody into thinking it's this junky old truck. But underneath, it's like a tale of two cities. The good, the bad, and the ugly. This client, you know, the last project I did with him was a hit. Did some weird stuff, used some shopping cart corrals, and he loved it. I don't know if we're going that route with this truck, but we're gonna do something interesting. My whole challenge here is to retain some of the old stuff and fit in new stuff everywhere else I can. You know, I got a couple other tricks to try to make it look like nothing else happened.
Hey, Ian.
Right on time. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I got all this stuff separated. You know, the chassis here, I think we can take this apart and put it right on right now.
I love it. I love it, love it. It's just fantastic. Well, Ian was very correct, as always. This chassis, I mean, it's perfect.
I feel like if you can get your forklift in here, we'll be able to take this whole body off. We'll get the bed separate, but we'll leave the fenders and everything attached. Then I'll take out the back window and we'll be on our way. As a driver, this thing's gonna be fitted with all new glass, all new window seals, and you know, it's my duty, it's my civic duty to shock and terrorize the client at the beginning of every project. I can use a little finesse at times also. It's the oldest trick in the book, the ATC tire shim technique. Raise her up. One thing I keep forgetting is that this is an antique vehicle and it actually had a foot starter button. Told you there's always something else. Fire at the beginning of a project, perfectly acceptable. Fire at the end of a project, no bueno.
You're burning all the insulation.
I told you, we're short-stepping this whole process. Manual said raise 3 feet and disconnect the generator wires. I'm gonna check the oil pressure. Check.
Ready to rip?
Rip it.
What is that I hear clanking?
It's like childbirth, man. There's gonna be some pain. Bill's got people. His helper, Martine, is gonna be working on this project with me, and he's coming to help me lift the bed off.
Ian, this is my friend Martine,
Howdy.
and when I need a strong guy,
Well, good.
there he is.
All right, let's take this off and stand it up. There you have it.
Perfect.
There's your comparison. Wheel to wheel. It's almost an identical match, but look, it's all boxed. You see how strong these cross members are? There's a clear difference between what you had and what you got. Putting these two chassis side by side, you can really tell the difference. You know, the old school leaf spring suspension, the straight axle on the front, you know, it's purely utility truck setup. And this new thing, it's all race car. Oh, right away you could see that this is gonna be the theme. We're mixing new and old. I can relate to that because I'm an old guy with a young guy's brain. I used to have hair. Groovy gravy.
The stance is just what I was hoping. I know exactly what I want to do on the tires and wheels.
I know exactly what I want to do on the top. I'm gonna chop that thing.
Chopping it.
Looks like Bill took my request for an extended lunch break pretty seriously. He's nowhere in sight. So while I'm in my domain, let's get this chop on. Challenge here is to keep it real subtle. Like when you look at his big roll-off truck, it's mellow, his Ranchero, et cetera, et cetera. They've all been radically changed, but when you look at it, you kind of don't really know what was changed. It's got this hot rod chassis underneath. It's not an old farm truck. I just want to give it a little more of an aggressive appearance. I'm not really sure how it's going to pan out. You know, sometimes I'll just go into a project, cut it all apart, and then figure out how to put it back together. But my new mode is subtle and thoughtful. That's 2 middle names. So, I'm gonna take a little extra time thinking it through. Pickup truck looks like a baseball cap. And if you look at that and you look at the truck, that's it. So, you know, if you're wearing your hat like this, it gives one kind of a look, right? Some guys flip up the bill, et cetera, but I want it to be like kind of like down, you know? Kind of like all business. So, you know, you can wear your hat any way you like, or you can chop your truck any way you like. We'll see. Why am I wearing a Puerto Rico hat? The way I was brought into this is learn the rules, master the rules, and then break the rules. Throw them out the window. I just act like I don't know anything at the start of every day. I learn how to tie my shoes, I learn how to brush my teeth, and then I figure out how to chop a top. Chop top is not a set of rules, it's the simple lowering of the roof line. I figure you can go and draw any line you want through that thing, as long as it's a chop top. I'm subtle, 1.5 inches in the front, and a whopping 1 inch in the rear. So look at that, see? A little 1/2 inch down, it's 1/2 inch lower in the front. Now it's not that flat top baseball hat. See how the drip rails in the windows are just going just a little bit. That's a good call, Ian. I'm glad you did that. Thanks, Bill. That height looks good to me. I'm stopping with those dimensions. But, you know, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing this. And we got a couple issues to contend with. And there's where your problem is. Every chop, if you keep the back in line, the front is not in line. And vice versa, right on down the line. You see, when you line up the front, here's where the issue is. You got this big step. Nobody likes looking at a mismatch like this. I think I got a remedy that will remedy the remedy, bring it all together. I got a problem, I got a couple ideas for a solution, and no time like the present to try out some new ideas. You see, when you line up the front, here's where the issue is. The typical formula is you cut through the center here and extend it that much. But I don't want to do that. I want to give this pillar an angle. Starting off the rear portion of the cab with the simple flat sheet, so I tack welded the entire perimeter of the rear window skin into place. So the glass is still flat, but the cab has just a much rounder feeling in the back. I didn't mess up the paint, I got away with something. But we're not out of the woods yet. Bill wanting to retain this old paint, I'm leaving it all in place. I'm just gonna go very gingerly around the painted areas and put in as little new metal as possible. This is the trickiest part of the whole thing, getting these little pie cuts in. As it cools, it wants to collapse. So every time I weld it, pop it back into shape. You gotta go slow, just keep giving it the massage. Got all these tacked up. It's gonna be a lot of welding, so while it's cooling down, then you get onto these door tops, and that'll seal the deal. So now you get a real good illustration of how much it's chopped and how the pillars have changed. Not radical, but definitely different. Looks like my new middle name of Subtle is really sticking. You know, this chop could lead off a whole new avenue. You know, I could just be shaving door handles for the rest of my career. So all that cutting that went on in the roof now has to transfer into the shape of these upper door frames. The challenge with this is that there is glass in there, so it's all gotta line up. So those pillars have to be perfectly parallel. You know, you can't do that with a piece of glass. Probably wondering how I'm gonna do that. Me too. Pie cut this pillar and the door and line them up. We got shop inspectors. That's what I get for not bringing the dogs. Now we got this guy. Some days we got cats. Now we got, what is this, a squirrel? I guess the shop is a little nuts at times, but this is taking it to a whole nother level. Hey, you with the fur. What's going on here? Can't get away from these animals, man. It was a brief visit, but a time has been well spent. A few final trims and we're in business. Now, the good thing about these open pie cuts is with that trim that goes there, I won't even have to cut that. I could just go blink, bend it, and it'll look so smooth. Same thing here, it'll hide all that work. So I'm only body working 1, 2, 3, 4 little slivers. Seeing this with the door tops in, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna weld this up, do the same to the other side, and just get a lot of the tedious welding done before Bill gets here. I can't wait to show this to Bill, and I've already got a few ideas for some custom stuff on the front. Got the chop all wrapped up, and here comes Bill.
Wow, did it again.
There's your chop.
Another miracle.
Well, guess how much it's chopped?
1.5 inches, 2 inches?
Yes, both answers are correct.
Oh, different. Oh yeah, look at the slope.
I raked it.
Subtlety.
I like the subtle shop. You know, it's appropriate for Mr. Bill and his needs.
You gotta love it. It looks better than the factory. That's the way GM should have built it.
That's what I'm always saying, man.
Yeah.
Glad to see Bill's happy. You know, my new middle name just might be sticking. Old Subtle Roussel. His wild ideas were cool, but man, that's subtle, smooth. So this is pretty much nailed. The grill is a whole other issue. Unless you want a big smashed in nose, you know, I can repair it, but it's always gonna be different.
Well, you've been chopping, I've been shopping. So let me show you something.
A wizard with words. Oh, wait a second, that's no junkyard piece.
No, sir, that's a catalog buy.
Oh, a repop, okay.
Yeah.
This is a really nice piece. I didn't expect that.
I just thought the front is kind of, it just needs a little bit of something. And I think maybe Ian was like, whoa, here comes the house of chrome in here.
Let's just stick it on there and see what we're working with.
Okay,
Inside the shop, it's like a disco in there, man. Look at that.
it's pretty shy.
I'm not really saying anything to Bill, but you know, looking at the chrome on the grill and the chrome on the truck, you know, just bolting it on could create a pretty substantial mismatch. You know, I'm looking down into this grill, man, and there's me looking back at me. Yeah, that is a step in the right direction. And you say you got a chrome bumper to match.
I do.
I feel like it outshines the whole rest of the rig, you know?
It is a lot of chrome, I do agree. But I don't know.
The old grill is pretty smashed up. I'd consider it unusable. The new grill is pretty darn bright. Down in my bag of tricks, I think I might have a solution. Sometimes maybe A or B isn't the answer. Maybe it's A and B. A little less chrome, a little more of the old paint that you love. You just got to figure out how it all goes back together. First step is to remove the top bar from the old painted grill and try to straighten it. Depending on how damaged this old grill is, will depend on how much of the new grill will be utilized. Trying to bring this ridge right back out. You can see how low it is. I'm making every effort to avoid heating it up because I'm trying to keep the old paint in place. If you just keep banging something against a flat surface, it's gonna get flat. If you bang it against a curved surface, guess what's gonna happen? The name of the game here is no rules, you know, whatever it takes to get this thing back in shape. See that? It's almost there. The old top bar is looking pretty straight. It's all a matter of how it lines up with this new grill. That does something. The good news is the straightened upper grill fits with the chrome perfectly. The bad news is we're not out of the woods yet. This is exactly what it needed. It seemed like the truck cab with all its character just kind of stopped and they put like a, you know, like a mask on the front of it. On a lead sled, say a 49 or 50 Merc, a lot of times the body color will surround the chrome entirely. So I'm gonna try to detach that one and then somehow fuse the bottom lip of that grill as well. That way the old patinaed color really shows the shape of the front of the truck. This is exactly what I was hoping for, you know, a little old, little new. Just like the chassis swap, you know, the look of the thing has to be upgraded as well. Because that's what he asked for, an old green farm truck. Too much chrome's gonna just outweigh the old patina. I think you're just gonna call the tow truck if you get a flat tire. You don't need an old truck tire hanging on the side of the rig. Just taking this off and smoothing that out so you don't have the big dimple in the fender. This one was kind of easy to talk him into. You know, he wasn't really married to the concept. It was pretty much a, hey, I want to do this. Okay, do it. And this will be real simple too, because your parts truck will just cut a section of the fender off of that and just patch that in, smooth it out, and you're done.
I sold the parts truck. It's gone, Ian. Sorry, I didn't know you were gonna use that.
Well,
Here.
that was the plan 10 minutes ago.
What?
One day it was here, the next day it was gone. Case closed.
Guy came with money waving at me.
Okay.
So,
It just complicates things. Let me come up with plan B. Dome shapes like this are a little bit difficult to create. You could have been easy, you know?
No.
As usual, I've got some ideas. Just need a little alone time. I'll work it out. First thought process is, well, it's the wrong way. It's backwards. What if I put it rightwards? I wonder if I couldn't just put that on upside down. That ain't gonna work. Not getting out of this one that easy. I'm just gonna form one by hand. I know Bill's got a lot of stuff. I don't want to use new steel because that's so much of a contrast. This looks like that. Perfect. Making this out of a flat sheet with limited tools is a little more involved. You know, you have to stretch the metal pretty specifically, pretty controlled with basic hand tools. I got this whole setup from Eastwood. It's a leather sandbag. It's full of sand. The idea is when you hammer on it, it gives a little bit. And then I got all these plastic hammers from Eastwood as well. And if I had a formula, I would explain it, but I don't. Let's just start hitting it. You can only either stretch or shrink metal. I only have the opportunity to stretch it. Smooth it out with the English wheel, fit, repeat. Repeat performance of the old soft shoe technique. I don't know about you, it's starting to look like a piece of a fender to me. So the benefit of using the other fender from the parts truck would have been that panel will just sit right in place. What I'm running into is the same issue as with the chop top. I created a panel and it's not an exact replica of the fender, so I'm gonna have to make a vertical slice similar to what I did on the back wall of the cab to get this to fall into place. Once I got all welded and ground down, it's exactly what I was hoping for. That's my business, the old subtle crisis solver. That's that. Literally, first time I ever did that. As with all the welding on this, it's gonna need refinement and touch-up paint. So I got into the factory paints a little more than I was hoping, but hey, it looks good, I'm gonna own it. The virgin barn find scenario. This isn't really that, but we're trying to make it look that way. There's gonna be a bunch more little dent and ding removal that I'll work out on this bed. The cab's coming in next for some cancer repair. This truck is a driver, and I'd call it complete. Completely subtle. That's a good looking rig, man. Walking up on it, it's got the stance, as a hot rod truck should. The whole theme with this was a little bit old, a little bit of new, and that's harder to accomplish than just the spoken word. The chop top, that chassis swap, mixing all that up and still having it present as kind of a barn find classic truck, it was a challenge. All it needed was everything.
The steering wheel's original.
That's true.
Once Ian finished his work on it, Martine and I got busy with a lot of little things I don't really know how to express. I think it's my favorite build.
You know, that TCI chassis, that's the game changer. This thing, it's not a ranch truck.
No.
It's kind of like ranch dressing on a race car.
Yeah.
Patina really sells it as that vintage work truck Bill was looking for, but everything else is cooler. The 17-inch rims with those low-profile tires sells it. It looks fast.
The overall look of the truck is exactly what I wanted. You know, I like kind of the stock look, but with just a little bit of change. You look at the few little pieces of chrome we added, the tires, the wheels, the little chop, and you're going, that's not just drug off the farm. I was very concerned when you said, I'm subtle on this chop. I went, oh my God, he's not subtle. He's everything but that.
It was an interesting choice that Bill made in letting all the work show. You know, the weld seams are simply painted over to stop it from rusting, but you know, it works. It's like it's clear as day where I cut it, right? Somebody's gonna be like, nice truck, and another guy's gonna be there like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Something doesn't make sense.
I like it. I'm sure some people are gonna say, when are you gonna paint this? That's the way it is.
See what this baby can do, man. It's what this has all been leading up to. The easiest chop top I've ever got into. You know, the TCI chassis under it makes it a real street machine. This thing is built to boogie. Oh yes. There we go. It's not your grandfather's ranch truck. This is why your neighbors put up that slow down sign, now I know.
It's impressive, isn't it?
This is impressive. It's not even a pickup truck anymore. This thing is a road machine.
Yeah.
Bill was really surprised. You know, he is old school, right? So he's been in a lot of custom rides, and he's mostly really responding to how smooth and fresh and new it feels. You know, a lot of these older trucks, you step on the brakes and it goes off the road, right?
This one is straight as a die.
This is perfect.
It was a lot of fun to see Ian and have him drive the truck the first time. Ian's not often impressed with anything. As he was driving it, the response of the steering, the brakes, all of it, he was like, whoa, this is nice.
You got to check this out. Driving a truck's one thing, of course, but hey, this is a bit of a showpiece, in my opinion. I wanted to see how it looks coming down the lane. Just what the doctor ordered. You know, the way the front tires fit in the fenders, when it steers, you know, the bumper height to the ground, and Bill's idea to keep the green paint was perfect. It's got the stance, it's got the drivability. For a daily driver, this truck nails it. Hey, you want to race, Grandpa? Some kids never grow up. Typical Don scene. He's got pallets of stuff, so I didn't know if we were looking left or right. He points to this one on the left, and it's a bunch of vintage tin work. Looks like it's an old Ford or something. The thing behind the pile of stuff is a C-cab. It's a really early Ford truck. It's really old, and I think it's cool. So this thing is like 92, 95 years old,
Yes.
something like that? Wow. This thing doesn't even have rust, man.
The cab is basically really straight, no rust, has a lot of potential. As old as it is, it's in pretty darn good shape. I've got the frame for it, got some of the fenders.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this is what started this whole idea.
This whole thing started with Don finding this manual hand crank. It's a tow truck winch. It's dated like 1930 or something.
Well, that winch has been sitting in storage for 33, 34 years now. I always thought it'd be really cool to have a vintage tow truck, basically to move stuff around here on the compound. I don't have a boom for it, so maybe that's where your magic can come in, is putting this stuff together.
Don's missing everything mechanical. He's got a mechanical hand crank winch. He just needs everything else.
Oh heck, that truck's missing a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't have a motor, it doesn't have a transmission, it doesn't have a drive shaft, it doesn't have front and rear suspension. I mean, it doesn't have a steering column. It is absolutely a basket case of parts with a whole bunch of parts missing.
If we could find a rolling chassis, then it's like just mount this body on there and, you know, do it kind of hot rod style. Don and I have been working together for such a long time. He's thinking, hey, anything's possible. And it really is, because I know that Don's got the parts. Somewhere in this property, he has everything we need to make this happen. Don's got this 1-ton dually just sitting there. The way I see it is this is a huge upgrade from 1919. This is like 1969, you know, it's like way more developed. This truck is gonna drive like Henry Ford never imagined.
But I think it's a little bit, the cab's too small for this.
I think this could work, man. I don't see why not. I mean, if we have to cut that cab or do something to this frame, it doesn't matter back here, it's a utility bed. It's just that that nose of the cab is so narrow in the front, we might have to do something.
And the frame looks straight. It doesn't look like it's been tweaked or...
I think it's a good start, man. Get this cab out of the way and let's get it inside and lay it out.
Well, when we first started mocking it up, it just didn't look right.
It just looks like it's got a little thing stuck on the back.
It does. Yeah, standing at this angle, it does. So Ian and I looked at each other and go, this isn't gonna get it. We need to come up with something else.
Like if we did use these 4 members and we went back to the winch.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
I like how the line comes down into the winch. It looks like it's one piece.
Yes.
Maybe open this up and and created, you know, like that big crane shape. The whole deal is how this truck looks as a whole. And then finally, after moving the pieces around, you just know when you hit the sweet spot. I think we should go with that.
I think this is it.
Now that we got this thing mocked up, I'm ready to move on, really get started on this truck. Once Don and I got the basic structure of the boom figured out, it's time to bring it to life. I'm just building this perimeter frame around the base that's going to be like a subframe that anchors that winch and also holds the uprights. Got a whole bunch of this C-channel from Industrial Metal Supply. It's 4" by 1.5. It's a 3/16 wall. I'm going to build each side flat on the table, and I'll stand them up and then tilt them in and join them at the top. This boom needs to be strong, but it's never going to pick up really heavy stuff. Because it's a hand crank winch with a pulley, it's got a weight limit. The end result will be that this will be a great rig for Don to use around the yard, around the compound. So the fit up here is pretty loose because I'm seeing like a big 1/4" plate coming out and making a nice gradual arc so that the hook is a little bit further out from the back of the truck. Once I got the boom structure on the truck, it's all about tying in the hand crank. I know I'm gonna have to build something off the front of this. I really like the idea of keeping this rustic old angle iron frame. It would be easy to just unbolt the winch and put it on something fresh, but the whole look of the truck is like old-fashioned. I'll just build a little discreet brace underneath to bolt it to, so it'll be just presenting, it'll be out in the open. And then I'll put a cross member under here that'll support the front of that. Even though we're basing this structure on what Don and I mocked up, I still am trying to bring some kind of a design element into it. The winch looks good there. The last thing for me to do is just mock up some kind of an end cap. All the tow trucks we're looking at seem to have this detail at the end where the cable came over and then had a pulley that kind of drooped down. So I'll make an oversized one of these cardboard deals. The big issue I'm having is this negative space with the plate on top. The fix may be to truss it out with some 3/16 flat bar on the outside of this whole thing. Like, come off of that plate and down, and then back, and then back. Once the structure of the boom was in place, I'm just thinking about designs that can crisscross this pattern. It's a pretty weird triangular shape, so I'm just laying out tape in random directions just to get an idea of how the space will be filled. I'm not really sold on this truss idea. I put in 3 cross pieces and felt like it was gonna work. I kept adding to it and it just got out of control. I wanted Don to come in and check it out, just see what he thought.
Wow. That's looking good, Ian.
I'm getting carried away, man.
Got the back hacked off. Yeah.
The problem I'm having is with this tape.
It's a little busy, isn't it?
Act as if that isn't there for now.
Okay. Ian had put a bunch of tape on the structure that we were doing.
The whole reason I was getting carried away with this tape was I had a couple pieces of flat bar, and I loved the fact that if we used that big 1/4" plate you have and put it on the outside and create some kind of a truss structure over the top of this so it's really dimensional.
I think on that strapping, it was just gonna be way too busy.
I think the way that I build things is just understanding that I don't know what's best. I'm just leaving it open to happen.
But I really like this shape, how it's taking. It's,
I thought by turning the C-channels backwards like that, showing them, it just made it look a little more old-fashioned.
I think you're right. And that's what we want to go with, the older look.
Well, again, with the trussing, maybe we leave it out. I thought it would be really cool to, make it very fancy. I was really trying to make something out of this boom. I was going for the Eiffel Tower, and Don just wanted something way simpler.
I think you nailed it like this. This will work absolutely great like this. I thought he might get a little too carried away on it. It's hard to keep up with Ian. He moves so fast, but I like it the way it is.
There's a ton of different design elements needed to bring this thing together. My process is to stay open to new ideas, and that's just how I work. I'm not sure Don's on the same page. I'm just gonna keep working through this, and Don's gonna go grab more parts. You can see here how this is spreading out so wide. So the wheel will fit inside here. Perfect. The cable comes through into the wheel. Bolt passes right through here, and the other wheel will be out here. But I'll clamp this in after I get this stuff welded up. The triangle shape of this boom was so irregular in the way that the main support beams came together, I felt that a top cap would just simplify the whole deal. Coming up with the design for this top cap, I thought it was just gonna have one pulley. But I realized that the look of it required two. It seemed like the cable was going to be rubbing on the framework, so by putting two pulleys, it allowed it to come up over the top and then out of the back just a little more smoothly. Seeing the boom and the winch on the truck is awesome. It's really the start of what this vintage truck should look like. We could replace this 70s styled steering wheel with something more period correct later. So these are the fenders. I made a couple marks and set it up. I measured these fenders up front to rear. The clearances are cool. They're even, they're in place. I'm gonna tack them on. The next challenge is getting these running boards in place. They need a pretty heavy support structure that has to tie into the frame. I like these running boards. It's a really great running board, I'm not disputing that. My concern is the transition from the radius to the front fender detail. So I think I'm gonna end up building off of the running board instead of cutting it back. Yo!
Brought you some more material.
Don shows up with more random scraps. Here he is wheeling in some old diamond plate. Well, you're right on time, man.
Yeah, well, perfect.
Check out what I got.
Hey, those are looking slick. Yeah, it's so cool seeing this old stuff. It's been in stock up against that house for a long time.
Various states of pileage.
Well, if I wasn't such a pack rat, I wouldn't have all this stuff. Now, the wife thinks I'm out of my mind, but...
Well, she's not the only one.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, I'm a hoarder. Definitely, I collect stuff, I hoard stuff. I don't get rid of anything unless the wife has some say to it, but having Ian to be able to utilize most of this stuff has just been absolutely great. And it might work out for a parade, too.
Don's really happy with the progress on this truck. Still a lot more to do, but I think we're on the same page.
It sure worked out
So
good,
it's the
didn't it?
'69 Chevy steering column. I just shortened it up. We started talking about the rear of the truck. What are you thinking about this rear bumper? Do you have any material or like any guesstimate of what you want to see here? Don said he's got a great bumper, and I think this diamond plate might be just what I need. The big missing piece in this whole equation is this area here. Once again, Don's got the parts. We found some side pans from a Model A. See the way it worked on the Model A. Came down below the running board, and then this angle came up into the fender. We run into the same issue with the running board in that it's short coming into the bed. To me, it's gonna be better to make this part. We're trying to tie in the fender, the running board, and the cab. It's just gonna look better if it's scratch built. First thing is to just pull this around. So it's about 90 degrees. See, the sheet metal brake makes a really hard angle. This makes a nice mellow angle. So that was like, you saw 2 seconds of pulling, but it stretched the metal into this really rigid compound curve. It's like a puffed shape. I'm all about trying to just find stuff and modify it so I can use it, but sometimes there's just no other alternative. And that's really where your craftsmanship comes from, is when you can just build from scratch. but the curve indexes just below the body and comes down to the running board. So now I gotta trim this top side to fit roughly, and then I'll measure out my flange to cover those holes, turn it back under like a hem edge, tack welder in. The 20 gauge sheet being super flimsy, you can see by putting these bends in it, it's very strong now. And that's cool. This side panel's gonna work. The real hard part is getting the running board to fit up with the front fender. So that's gonna be a pretty big deal to make that work, fabrication-wise. This truck coming together, we gotta get started on the engine work. Don says he's got a small block Chevy, but of course it's buried out in the yard somewhere and we gotta go get it. Out here in Don's back 40, he's got stuff piled so deep, you have to call in the big crane to get it out. Don's treasure's down there. So instead of moving all these cars and everything, we're just gonna move the racks. Finally, we're out of the shop, you know? Get away from the truck for a minute. This is a really intense build because it's all business. This engine was looking pretty rough. Don's claiming that this is the buried treasure, and I'll tell you, it was buried. Take her up.
This engine that I've got is a good engine. It's a small block Chevy. I've probably had it about maybe 13, 14 years.
I tell you, Don, this is looking good, man. This is like new old stock. This is a fresh engine. If ever I've seen fresh stuff, this is it. This is great. See you later. So to get out and swing around on the crane for a while, yeah, it helps clear the head.
I'm gonna clean this engine up a little bit, pull off all the unnecessary parts, and ship it back over to Ian, because I know he's got a lot of work to do on it.
We got a brand new transmission from Monster, so it's really like 90% there. This piece is really subtle. It's a small part, but if I don't get it right, it's gonna be totally noticeable. I'm using the detail on the end of the fender, which is a rod shape, and I'm just gonna make a gradual S curve down into the bottom of the running board and sheet it. You know, it doesn't belong that way, but at least it's gonna match. You know, you'd never see that anywhere else. You really don't grow unless you're, you know, challenged. You know, there's gotta be some pain there, like working out, you know? So even though I'm not able to go out and just do my funky dance, it's like a workout. This thing is just pushing my skills to make something happen. Yeah, to try to create this weird, it's almost like a horn, like a bullhorn, right? A section of that, like a steer horn. And to create that really tight curve in one piece of metal would require a huge amount of stretching. So I'm gonna shrink the two insides of each curve and they'll lap over. This is the side profile of the wheel arch going down into the fender. And that's why I chose this method to put it together, because at least it draws a flowing line. The whole idea here is the next piece is gonna come off of this existing fender and just wrap right over it. So there'll be a seam about a ½ inch in. And that's why I just curled that edge pretty tight. I've come a long way with this truck, but to me it's all about the finishing details. If you can pull it off convincing, then it's a real winner. This rod, you can see, comes straight through. It drops down and into the bottom of the running board. And this little flange here just is what it is. It disappears and goes right under. I'm really happy with this. It's one of the main issues I needed to make work, and I think it came out fine.
The way he molded it in and blended it in, I mean, it just looks like it came from the factory.
All right, to start off the front end, I thought the radiator and grill shell would be the best place, start front row and center. We're on to the more enjoyable part of it, which is accessorizing. Don had a couple sections of a Model A rear bumper, so I shot him an idea of using those on the front of this chassis. Our front end design has two side pieces of existing Model A bumpers, so we're ending up with a space in the middle to fill. So Don had these steaks from the garden. Don had these garden steaks. I don't know what he was thinking, but, and you know, I'm always open to nuance, but I don't know if this tent steak is really the right choice. Sometimes when stuff doesn't look right, it just leads you to a better idea. I think we're gonna have to come up with some kind of a center element that just stands on its own, and then it has these two little side flaps. The rear bumper's a big tube, so this obviously is gonna be a mismatch. It's a work truck, so a tube bumper is appropriate in the back. I'm thinking like some kind of a utility front bumper, like you'd see on a work truck, a fire truck or something. I'm gonna cut off the front section of the frame, and I have an idea of a way to make this work. I had this super old school toolbox. It's definitely period correct. So maybe I'm just gonna make a little tray that I'll just hold the toolbox there. That's something a tow truck would have, you know? This toolbox came from the guy that taught me almost everything I initially learned with sheet metal work. I was working in roofing in New York City, making gutters, all kinds of decorative copper elements, and this was the dude's toolbox. It's legit. I like little details like this. It gives the project cool elements that have their own story. I got the headlights mounted on their stands, and it's cool too because it really does have a Model A feel. You know, looking at it from here, if you know the front fenders aren't Model A. But the grille, the placement of the headlights, the style of the headlights, and the curved fenders and running board, it's looks a little bit more updated than your 1923 C-Cab. For the windshield frame, Don had this really neat oval tube. I don't know what it's from, but I think it'll serve our purpose perfectly. On this cab, I have pictures I took from the internet, and it looks like the windshield is about this tall, but it just sits up inside. It's the weirdest thing, because you can see the roof is way wider than the windshield. They were never intended to match. It was more like an air deflect, or it was a wind shield. It just shielded you from the wind, and that's where the term came from. Well, I'm gonna TIG weld all this because it's gonna make a nice little weld bead. Hopefully I won't have to sand or do any detail work to this. It'll just be a nice stainless steel TIG weld. Looks like an old truck. So Don is gonna get the paint and all the final details on this project together. It's almost wrapped. I can't wait to see it finished.
Ian nailed this thing. It's unbelievable. The stuff that I gave him to work with, he knocked it out of the park. I mean, look at that truck. It is just absolutely beautiful.
This one was really getting to me. The mismatch of parts was bothering me to no end.
There's stuff from the 40s, there's stuff from the 30s, there's stuff from the 20s, and then the drivetrain and frame is from the 60s.
The whole challenge here was using the parts that Don wanted. The hand crank was really the impetus behind the whole thing. The truck was styled around that era hand crank, so that's my favorite part of the rig, and really without it, it wouldn't have been this truck at all. It went from a pile of parts on a pallet to an operating tow truck.
Ian had built Patty this electric dune buggy that she can drive around the compound here. She drove it until the batteries were dead, and then we went and picked her up. We put a hook on it and towed it back for her.
The whole thing here was getting Don his fantasy truck. I'm charged up and Don is stoked. Don added all the final details to really finish out this project. The wooden bed and that giant old school hook really give it that vintage feel.
Working with Ian on this project really opened my mind to a lot of things, and this project came out killer. I mean, it came out way better than I expected it.
Don's totally into this truck. He's got a huge stash of projects and the possibilities are endless.